Welcome to Dreamstate Stories. These stories are here to transport you to a world just beyond reality. Let yourself remember what it felt like to believe in things you couldn't quite explain. We're glad you're here. Campfire Stories, Rocky Raccoon. There is a kind of quiet that only exists deep in the forest. It's different than the quiet of an empty room or the hush of a library, older and much more alive. A quiet made of 10,000 small sounds layered so gently together that the whole becomes a kind of stillness. The whisper of wind moving through the high branches, the last calls of birds settling into the evening, the soft percussion of the forest adjusting itself as the light slowly changes. Somewhere out in the province of British Columbia, in a forest that has been growing for longer than anyone can remember, a family has made camp for the night. Owen is 9 years old, and he has dark eyes that notice everything, and a habit of going very quiet when he is thinking. He loves his parents dearly. He loves his dog, who has stayed home with his grandmother. He loves maps, the smell of library books, and strawberry ice cream. What he is less certain about is this: the forest is not what he had imagined. In his mind, camping had been something bright and organized, a tidy arrangement of trees, a manageable fire, a sky he recognized. What greets him instead is something altogether larger. The trees are enormous in a way that feels almost personal, as though their size is directed at him specifically. The shadows between them move in ways he cannot predict. Every so often, something rustles, too far away to see, too close to ignore. He is not frightened exactly. He is simply aware, in a way he has not been before, of just how small he is and how far from home. As the fire settles into its later rhythms, less crackle, more steady glow, Owen's father sets down his mug and looks across the flames with the particular expression that means a story is coming. Owen has seen that expression many times. It is one of his favorite things about his father, how he carries stories in him the way other people carry keys or coins, always ready, always at hand. The story begins with "Once upon a time." His father describes a raccoon who lives in a forest just like this one, a raccoon named Rocky. Owen leans a little further back into his mother's arms. His father's voice is low and unhurried, shaped by the firelight and the quiet of the trees. He speaks of a raccoon exploring his forest in the golden light of morning, turning over stones, slipping through an old hollow log, following interesting scents with the focused enthusiasm of someone who finds the world endlessly worth investigating. Owen listens. The fire pops softly. An owl calls once from somewhere high above, and the forest absorbs the sound without returning it. His eyelids, which have been heavy since supper, begin their slow, determined descent. He does not fight them. His mother is warm at his back. The fire reaches him in gentle waves. His father's voice continues, carrying the story forward. Rocky climbing a tree. Rocky discovering something wonderful just around the next bend. Somewhere between one breath and the next, Owen is asleep. The campfire light softens and spreads. The smell of smoke becomes the smell of fresh pine and cool water and something sweet that has no name. The sounds of the night forest shift, rearrange themselves, brighten, and Owen, without choosing it, becomes Rocky. The forest is on fire with color, not literally, though it blazes with the same intensity and insistence on being noticed. The trees are towering. The light comes through the canopy in long, angled beams. The moss on every fallen log looks impossibly soft, like something sown rather than grown. At first, this world feels overwhelming. The light is too bright, the sounds too loud, and the smells. There are so many smells arriving all at once, each one sharp and distinct. He blinks. He breathes. And then, quite without meaning to, he twitches his whiskers, and everything clicks into place. Rocky begins to move through the forest with the easy authority of someone who has never once felt lost. He is not large as forest creatures go. Exploring, his masked face turns this way and that with the attentiveness of a detective. His nimble front paws investigate everything. The underside of a piece of bark, the damp crevice beneath a stone, the hollow of a fallen cedar that smells of something old and very intriguing. He crosses a stream by hopping between exposed rocks, pausing in the middle just long enough to watch his own reflection ripple and reassemble in the current below. He finds wild berries that taste of late summer. He follows a scent he can't identify for 10 minutes before losing it at the base of a giant spruce, where he sits for a moment with his nose working overtime, both frustrated and delighted in equal measure. The forest from down here is not frightening at all. It is simply the world, Rocky's world, known and loved and endlessly interesting. Every fallen log is a landmark, every mossy boulder a reference point. He reads the forest the way other creatures might read a map, not by looking at it from a distance, but by being completely, fluently inside it. From up here, the world arranges itself differently. The valley below is a patchwork of shadow and gold, the stream stitching through it like a seam. The forest is full of stories, each one proceeding in parallel, each one perfectly complete in itself. Rocky is only aware of his own, of course, but somehow, in the way the light falls, in the way the valley breathes below him, He seems to sense the vastness of all the others. And then his nose catches something new. A complicated tangle of smells arriving on the evening breeze. Smoke, but not the natural smoke of a lightning strike. Something more deliberate, controlled. And underneath the smoke, food. Many different kinds of food. Some of them extraordinary, and some, frankly, bewildering. All of them absolutely worth investigating. He descends the ridge slowly, moving from tree to boulder to log, in the careful and considered way that raccoons tend to move. The smells grow stronger and stranger. He reaches the edge of the fern line and looks out. What lies in the clearing below is unlike anything in Rocky's usual world. There is a structure, round and brightly colored, made of some material that is neither stone, nor leaf, nor bark. It catches the last light and holds it in ways the forest does not. There are objects of every description, large rectangular forms, long things strung between trees, a circle of stones containing fire that is somehow smaller and more orderly than any fire he has encountered in the wild. Smells he will never fully categorize, synthetic fabrics, and food sealed in containers, and then imperfectly sealed because nothing is ever perfectly sealed from a raccoon. It is all quite confusing, and yet absolutely magnificent. He watches from the ferns as the humans settle toward their glowing structure for the night. The sounds shift. The fire in the circle burns lower. Rocky waits a reasonable interval. Then he moves. The campsite at ground level is something else entirely. Every object is a puzzle. The cooler alone, large, white, cold to the touch in a way that is deeply unnatural and deeply interesting, occupies his attention for several minutes. His paws work the latches with focused concentration. The smell from within is complex, layered, a story told entirely in scent. He finds bread, cheese, something wrapped in foil that turns out to be leftover fish, which he regards as a stroke of almost unfair good fortune. He eats with the leisurely satisfaction of someone who has worked for something and earned it. And then the night explodes. Not literally, but from Rocky's perspective, the effect is similar. The tent opens, and a human emerges, and that human is huge. The human makes a sharp sound, the kind that carries clear intent regardless of language. Its arms go wide. Rocky leaves the fish behind. He does not run exactly. He moves with brisk efficiency, a disciplined speed that conserves dignity while still achieving rapid relocation. Up and over the cooler, across the open ground, into the ferns, and up the nearest tree, before the human has taken 3 more steps. From up in the pine tree, the campsite looks different. Rocky watches the human below, a flashlight beam moving back and forth across the clearing. There is no real anger in the movements. He can read that clearly now from the safe distance of height. It is something else, something he recognizes. The human is protecting something. The cooler, the food inside it, the carefully arranged objects, the structure that is their temporary home in this place. All of it. Rocky understands this. Rocky understands this the way he understands most things. Not through reasoning exactly, but through recognition. He has favorite places too. A certain hollow tree where he sleeps through the coldest nights. A stretch of stream bank where the crayfish gather, and that he considers fundamentally, inarguably, his. If some stranger had wandered into that hollow tree and helped itself to his things, he would have wanted to stop them too. Neither of them is wrong. They simply see the same world from different angles. Below, the lantern between the trees sways gently in the night breeze. The campfire has burned low. The forest presses close around the small circle of light, and the small circle of light holds its ground with quiet, determined warmth. Rocky watches it for a moment longer, this little bright outpost in the dark forest. It isn't so different from his own hollow tree. Not so different at all. The dream begins to thin. It happens the way all good dreams end. Slowly and with a kind of wistfulness. The images softening at their edges and the sounds becoming less distinct. Rocky sits in his pine tree as the tree begins to fade, and Rocky's paws become Owen's hands tucked beneath his cheek, and the night forest becomes the real night forest. Stars overhead, the fire burned to low orange coals. Owen drifts in the space between. For a few suspended moments, he is both boy and raccoon, dreamer and the dreamed. And the forest feels neither enormous nor unfamiliar, but simply itself, alive and complex and asking nothing of him except to notice it. And then, close and quiet through the dark, his father's voice, not telling a story anymore, speaking quickly in the particular tone adults use when they are amused and trying not to show it. Owen opens his eyes. The campfire has burned almost to nothing. Owen's parents are awake, his mother still warm behind him, his father standing now a few steps away, waving one arm slowly and half-heartedly. He is saying something quiet but firm to a shape near the food bag. It is not working because the shape near the food bag is a raccoon, and raccoons are not much moved by quiet firmness. Owen rubs his eyes in sleepy disbelief. The raccoon is compact and dark-masked, moving with a calm efficiency that Owen recognizes. Its front paws work at the edge of the food bag with concentrated, methodical intelligence. Its ring tail moves in a slow, unconcerned arc. Every few seconds, it glances up at Owen's father with an expression that conveys, quite clearly, that it is aware of the human and has decided to factor him into its plans without letting him significantly alter them. Owen watches the way you watch something you understand differently than you did an hour ago. Owen's father takes a more decisive step forward, clapping his hands once. Not unkindly, but deliberately. And the raccoon retreats, crossing the clearing in that brisk, dignified way toward the undergrowth at the forest's edge. But it stops. At the very boundary between the campsite and the trees, right at the place where the cleared ground becomes fern and shadow, the raccoon pauses. For just a moment, one of those moments that feel longer than they are, that the memory keeps and returns to. The raccoon looks back across the clearing. It looks at Owen, and Owen looks at it. And then it disappears into the ferns, into the shadow, into the vast and endlessly interesting forest that is its whole world and has been long before any of them arrived. In the morning, the forest looks different. It is the same giant trees, the same deep shadows between them, the same impenetrable green that recedes into distance the further you look. But something has shifted in the way Owen is seeing it. What felt intimidating now feels intriguing. This huge forest is full of creatures moving through their own particular story with the same absorption that Rocky did. Out there, right now, something is climbing. Something is investigating. Something is crossing a stream on stepping stones, pausing to watch its own reflection rearrange in the current below. Out there, a raccoon is making its way back to a hollow tree it considers home, carrying the memory of a strange and brightly colored camp, of objects that made no sense and others that tasted delicious, of a large, confusing human who waved its arms in a way that was alarming and also, honestly, not unlike the way a raccoon would defend its hole. Owen smiles. The trees are the same trees. The sounds are the same sounds. The forest hasn't changed, but the way that he sees it has. There is a kind of quiet that only exists deep in the forest. Owen breathes it in, and for the first time since they arrived, it doesn't feel so unfamiliar anymore. Thank you for being here. We hope this story carried you somewhere worth going. We'd love to know what you thought. Did the world unfold the way you imagined it? Or does your version of the story look a little different? Tell us in the comments because we genuinely want to hear. And if Dreamstate Stories is something you'd like more of, subscribing and sharing means everything to a small channel. It's the simplest way to help these stories find the people who need them. Until next time, keep dreaming.